p.m. in Maiganga in the Adama region of Cameroon, same time in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe television with me. For me, Armstrong Sander. Cameroon is facing a silent epidemic, diabetes. The numbers are alarming, especially among the elderly. Patients face a daily struggle from the cost of medication to the constant battle to control their blood sugar levels, according to health officials. But today, on World Diabetes Day, health professionals are sounding an alarm. It is time to take action. Healthy diet and a regular physical activity are key to preventing the managing of the deadly disease across Cameroon. That is our lone top story. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the news once again. We're starting in health. On the occasion of this day, our reporter Lucy Liengo, who went to finding out just how activities are unfolding in Cameroon's economic capital city within the context of the World Diabetes Day, discussed with a nutritionist at the General Hospital of the city of Douala on just what constitutes the strict diet for diabetes patients. Let's take a listen to an extract of Efetin Munge, who is a nutritionist at the Douala General Hospital.
Into the diabetic patient, we have to look more into their breakfast. When you mean their breakfast, at what time are they eating? That is from 7 to 7:30 in the morning, and in the afternoon that is from 12 to 1, and in the evening latest 7:30 2 p.m. That's how you're supposed to respect it, knowing that in the morning, maybe for example, you can take your brown bread, maybe 2 slices of bread. Since what we have to look more into, it is the carbohydrate, the fats, and the oil intake, which is the carbohydrates and then the fat. When I mean the fat, I mean the vegetable oil that we are using, which is either jamao or tunisol. That's what we have to look into. And then we also have to look now into your carbohydrate intake. Is your yam in a larger quantity? Do you used to eat like 3 or 4 fingers of bananas or yams or halves of yams? Now you have to take it down to 2. Then taking it now in the evening, you have to take half of it, which is either 1 or 1.5, depending on the amount that you ate in the afternoon. Irrespective of how you put your plate, your vegetable normally has to be more than the carbohydrates. Then your maybe 1 slice of chicken or your fish.
And now these are the problems. The prevalence rate of diabetes remains high, especially among the older population across Cameroon. Many patients living with hyperglycemia face a wide range of challenges that make the managing of the disease extremely difficult, from the high cost of medication to the struggle to keep their conditions under control. As Cameroon joins the international community today, marking the World Day for the fight against diabetes, medics emphasize on a healthy diet and physical activity. On the occasion of this day, our reporter Lucy Liengo met with patients living with the conditions for 7 years now, but also interviewed a medic who explained just how patients are being catered for at the level of the Mbopi Baptist Hospital in the city of Douala. Her reports. And of course, we shall be having the reports done on the occasion of the World Day for the fight against diabetes, as compared by our reporter Lucy Liengo in some health facilities across the city of Douala. She will be explaining the difficulties faced by patients. Now, time for us to talk sports. The failure of the indomitable Lions of Cameroon to continue their adventure in the FIFA World Cup qualifier has been blamed on the tense atmosphere that has engulfed football since the arrival of Coach Mark Breeze at the helm of the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. To sport analyst Lawrence Kede, it is 2 organs, Fecafoot and the Ministry of Sports, popular in Cameroon, has been said running football in the country, and they are denying to get themselves united for a common goal, that of pushing Cameroon further. The Lions then will keep deteriorating if the 2 organs decide never to come together again. The report is compiled by sportsman Simat Jigan Gabriel.
It's not a bad delivery either, and A 92nd minute goal from Chancel Bemba, captain of the Leopards of the Democratic Republic of Congo, sent Cameroon out of the race for FIFA World Cup 2026. The failure of the national team didn't just start against DR Congo.
It's not against DR Congo that we lost. We lost earlier before. The draw games against Eswatini, against Angola, against Libya, and that defeat against Cabo Verde. That's where we lost our qualifiers. It's not against DR Congo.
The failure of the national men's football team has been linked to his poor management.
We faltered since we started the battle between the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education and FECAFOOT, the battle between Mark Brace and the president of FECAFOOT and FECAFOOT. And I think the latest in the build-up in this game against DR Congo, we had that polemic over the list to be published, whether Mark Brace should come to Cameroon and publish his list and justify the choice of players.
Mark Brace, who was supposed to work in a very friendly atmosphere, rather met a tensed one, which, according to our sports analysts, wasn't the best way for him to effectively put up his tactics.
Generally, in these qualifiers, we didn't see the fighting spirit of the player. We saw that lack of inspiration, and Cameroon doesn't have the strikers, the killers who could kill a game.
If things are supposed to return to normalcy within the ranks of the Lions, our sports analyst says,
I hope that all these stakeholders could sit down and really realize that the nation is primordial. They should give the priority to the nation. The intrigues, the divisions, they have contributed in bringing down this team, in not qualifying Cameroon for the World Cup.
With the FIFA World Cup now put aside, the next major tournament is the Africa Cup of Nations that starts next month in Morocco. Cameroonians will be watching keenly.
Yes, and that's how we saw the first part of the news. Coming up is the second part of the news, talking points. Stay with us. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thanks for joining us on Talking Point. Tonight, we are receiving Dr. Mfo Ahmed. He is a general health practitioner. With him, we are going to be finding out just how men can keep safe from some public health complications, beginning with prostate cancer. Good evening, Dr. Ahmed Mfo. Thanks for accepting our invitation.
Good evening from me, Armstrong. Good evening. It's a pleasure receiving this invitation from you guys.
Dr. Mfo, I'm going to be starting with the first question. What is prostate cancer, and just how and why it is an important health issue for men?
Prostate, first of all, the prostate is a gland which is located directly below the bladder, and it has a dual function. It has a function of reproduction by secreting the semen that carries the sperm cell and nourishes the sperm cells. It equally secretes a hormone called testosterone. Now, prostate cancer comes up when the cells of the prostate grow up abnormally in their thousands and in their numbers, forming a bunch called as a tumor. In the early stage of this cancer, it is difficult to dictate, or signs and symptoms do not show out at the early stage until there is a scanning.
Now, are there particular conditions that can favor the growth of prostate cancer, and how much is that a health challenge in Cameroon, in Africa, and the rest of the world?
There are various conditions or people who are very prone to prostate cancer. For example, black men, that's African black people or American black people, it's a racial complication. The people who are of age, especially from 50 years and above, and more predominantly from 70 to 74 years. And then you have people who have have inherited some genetic mutations from their parents. That's gene mutation. Equally, there is also family, if there's a family history of the disease, these people in the family will be prone to this. If they have some of their parents or their ancestors that have died of this complication. Statistics is showing that every year during the blue month, which is November, the alarming rate of increase of prostate is a cause of concern, which means the rate keep increasing year in, year out, despite the numerous campaigns and the numerous health education that has been given. And we are seeing this rapid rise in the prostate cancer could be because many people don't go for screening at the early stage. People are very reluctant and people are afraid to go for screening. Meanwhile, early screening and early detection can easily give a way for effective treatment.
Doc, from your analysis, it is evidently a public health concern. Now, do we have some early signs and symptoms that men should watch out for?
Yes, prostate cancer is manifested by a series of signs and symptoms, which you have something like frequent urination at night. You have inability to empty the bladder after urination. Then you have painful sensation during urination. You have a persistent lower back pain. Then you have sexual dysfunction. You have pains in the bones. And then equally, it brings also what we call mutation or metabolism disease, like diabetes could also show up. There are many complications, but what I want to make the listeners also understand is that some of these signs and symptoms also can be an indication of other health complication, not necessarily prostate, until a scanning has been done. Because those who have prostate enlargement could have these signs and symptoms, and then those who are all equally of age could experience some of these signs and symptoms, and which is not necessarily prostate cancer.
Doc, how necessary is early screening for prostate cancer, and how important is this tool on the treatment and the progress of the treatment with the potential of having positive results?
It's very important because, you know, prostate cancer starts at a group of cells multiplying in the prostate. At the early stage, there's a possibility of a surgical operation to remove if they have not spread to other organs in the body, or a chemotherapy or a radiography to eliminate the cells from the prostate. But as time goes by, the prostate cells or the cancerous cells keep spreading to other organs in the body. And when they finally attack other organs in the body, it becomes a health challenge. Some of these treatments may not work effectively. So early detection can easily limit the rate of spread and completely eradicate the cells from the prostate, and then you have a 100% guarantee of treatment. So as I was saying, the common treatment we use in Cameroon is radiography, chemotherapy, and surgical operations. These are the three common, after doing screening, which is screening start with the PSA, prostate-specific antigen test to see whether they are much. If they are much, then they can, it can be a sign of prostate cancer. And then you have digital rectum examination, which is done by a doctor. So chemotherapy, radiography, and surgical operation are common in the context of Cameroon. In other advanced countries, there's also what we call hormonal therapy, because the more testosterone is produced, the more of you having chances of having prostate cancer. So they could suppress the production of the male hormone testosterone. That's what we call hormonal therapy.
Now, but from the start you indicated, I got you so well, that it is a health complication common to the black race, both in Cameroon, in Africa, and even the black Americans. But now, my curiosity is if there is a lifestyle that can limit the possibilities of developing this health complication.
Exactly, Mr. Armstrong. There are lifestyle changes that can help improve a situation, maybe prevent prostate, or especially those who are in the risk zone. I already mentioned you, those who are prone to prostate cancer. When you know you fall within this group in a family where somebody died of prostate cancer, then there are many precautions you have to take. One of the lifestyle changes is we should reduce stress level. We should not overstress our body, And then you have, we have to reduce or stop the consumption, heavy consumption of alcohol. And we have to quit cigarette smoking. Then we do a lot of exercise. We need to be very active. The more we are active, the more we reduce the chances of prostate developing. And then some school of research has also proven that we need to get married because copulation, also the release and ejaculation of semen is done with the elimination of some toxins which are also found in the testicles. In this way, it can eliminate those toxins that can be a risk factor for prostate cancer.
Thank you, Doc.
And we have to manage our weight equally. Those who are overweight, they have to manage the weight because weight is one of the backbone risk factor for many health complications and also cancer.
That's interesting, Dr. Ahmed Fo. Now, how can men cope with the emotional and psychological effects of prostate cancer, please?
Actually, to cope with the psychological effects of prostate cancer is a matter of education. The first thing is we need to be open. If you have been diagnosed with prostate cancer, I want to demystify the concept people have that maybe if you are diagnosed with prostate cancer, you're already a dead person. No. You have to be open, talk to your doctor, to your healthcare provider, time and again, so that he educates you on nutrition and diet. Talk to your partner. If you're a married person, tell your partner, your wife, I've been diagnosed with prostate cancer and these are the cautions that they have given to me. You can join a group, some groups which have similar problems like you, those suffering with prostate cancer. That's why in America there's the American Cancer Society, there's American Diabetic Society. These are a group of people suffering from related health conditions. They group themselves, educate themselves, and manage their health together. You seek counseling from other people you know they can counsel you. And then avoid sedentary sitting on one spot for long. It will bring a lot of thought and thinking. Thinking and worriness could kill faster than the prostate itself. So you need to visit nature, go on picnics, look at the environment, enjoy tourism. This one, as you distract yourself with the environment, some of these psychological problems would gradually disappear. And if you're on treatment, you start seeing improvement over time.
Wow, this is interesting. Dr. Ahmed, the month of November is dedicated for the campaign on prostate cancer. In the context of the fight, what role has the campaigns played so far in curbing prostate cancer in Cameroon particularly?
So the campaigns, if you look at the context of our country, at the level of Cameroon, most campaigns are done at the level of the hospitals, district hospital, regional hospitals, where nurses and some group of selected individuals go around to create awareness, maybe through a kind of conference of workshops, and then passing health education and sensitization on prostate cancer prevention. And in this way, also there is a free prostate cancer screening. In most of this campaign, where men can come and do their screening for free. Yes, and we are encouraging. The other bad part of it is that in the community, most people don't partake in most of these activities. We don't know why they are rushing from it. It's but of omni importance that if you are a man who have crossed 40 to 50 years, you should be part of this team of campaign to do a screening. It's not obvious that you must have. The chances of having prostate cancer, statistics in Cameroon is showing that about 7% of men. So, and it is something, it's not a killer disease until you allow it to kill you. So you can go for screening, go for those health campaigns and get good screening, get good health education, and know the precautions to take to live with a healthy prostate throughout your life.
Yeah, Dr. Ahmed, thank God we are having this conversation. It is very important for the public health and for the health of men. And also thank God I'm dressed in blue for the blue month of November. Now, men who are listening and watching us from the suburbs in Cameroon will be wondering where to go to for screening, especially if this is not actually being done in the rural parts of the country. What do you tell them, given that it's not really common?
Actually, it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge because with the nature of our country and the topography and the remoteness in some areas, prostate cancer is still a dilemma. Many people don't know what is prostate cancer. Many people will know away. Maybe if you go to rural areas, even there are some people who are not still aware of breast cancer itself also. So I think it is the responsibility of the government, of the minister in place, maybe to create teams to sensitize people, maybe days or weeks ahead before this blue moon, so that people living in the rural areas, two things can be done. Either they move to the urban centers, to hospitals around it to do screening and listen to lectures, health education, or they create teams to move to those districts to carry out sensitization. This is still possible. Because if you evaluate, only just about 40% of people living in the rural area will know what is prostate cancer. They have never heard about prostate cancer. Most of them have not even heard about any form of cancer because they have not been told, because they don't have access to information. So it's the challenge of the minister, it's the challenge of the government to make sure that this area has been touched through sensitization. We have vibrant youths outside, nurses and healthcare providers who have been trained their day in their numbers. If they can team them up with good motivation, I think they can do the work. The more we sensitize, the more people are aware, the possibility of the rate of spread of prostate cancer dropping in the years ahead.
I can say thank you enough Dr. Mfor Ahmed. Now, just before you take leave of us, do you have any other thing to add to prostate cancer or other public health complications in Cameroon?
Yes, yeah. I just want to, it's a coincidence that we just had a World Day for diabetes. Yes, there was World Day for diabetes, and diabetes is more common than prostate cancer, both in males and females. When we're talking about prostate, we're talking all about males. But the diabetes now is a general issue. So the caution I want to also give to people is that most families should have that diabetic machine to keep testing sugar. Because diabetes sounds simple, but it's a deadly disease when it goes to an extent. So they should do diabetes screening. You can do it at home, or at least screen yourself at least 4 times a year of diabetes. It's very important. And then seek for health education on diabetes. Because the most common one outside there is diabetes type 2, which we call nutritional diabetes, not type 1. Type 1 is just about 20%, type 2 is about 80% outside there, nutritional diabetes. And it comes from our lifestyle. So though heavily consuming alcohol, eating late in the night, consuming heavy beverage, energy drinks, while they are not active, they are sedentary, they are just paving a pathway for diabetes. So a good education too. The first thing I want to pass to all families, the diabetic machine has no cost. It's very cheap as compared to the diabetes disease itself. Every family should have a diabetic machine and a hypertensive machine to check your BP frequently and check your diabetes equally frequently. I think having a knowledge on these two will keep the community, will be redressing the situation and making the rate of spread of diabetes and dropping year in, year out.
That was a public health expert, Dr. Mfor Ahmed. Thank you once again, and finally, for taking your time to be guest on Talking Points on Equinoxe Television, Dr. Mfor Ahmed.